Tokyo Vice is a gritty neo-noir crime thriller that digs into the underbelly of Tokyo's warring Yakuza clans and asks the question, can Ansel Elgort sing?
I did musicals.
As of the writing of this video, Season 2 has not been confirmed, but holy crap does this ending leave us with a lot of setup for a potential second round. So in this video we'll be taking a look at Season 1, some of those details you missed, and theories for Season 2. And be sure to like and subscribe because if I don't fill my like quota, Sato is going to be very disappointed when he comes collecting. This is Jake Adelstein, the first foreign hire at Meicho Shimbun, the world's largest paper with a daily reader base of 12 million. Meicho isn't a real paper in Japan. In fact, many of the names of companies and characters throughout the season have been changed. So it's likely this is based off Yomiuri, which once held the Guinness World Record for most read newspaper. Jake has left his life in Missouri to get away from the pain of his family. In episode 3, we learn his dad disowned him and his sister tried to kill herself.
My father, who you just wished would shut up with the high expectations and disown me already. My mom can't accept that my little sister's not going to try to kill herself again, so every call she makes to me is full of guilt.
So Jake runs as far as he possibly can to Tokyo, Japan. The theme of the runaway is something found in many of our characters in one way or another. Sam Porter, the nightclub hostess, ran away from her controlling father and life as a Mormon. Sato ran away from his life as the son of a poor fishmonger hoping to make a name for himself as a member of the Yakuza. Not only do these characters share a propensity to run away, but they're all extremely ambitious. Jake studies his ass off for years learning Japanese and immersing himself in the culture to get a chance to join the best newspaper in the world. Even when he gets the job, he continues to strive for excellence, wanting to one day become a renowned investigative journalist. But as Jake will find out, things work differently in Japan. The police and Yakuza work in tandem to keep a tenuous veil of peace. Things like honor and shame play a much larger factor in people's lives than they do in North America. And getting what you want sometimes means making deals with notorious gangsters. So Jake has to navigate this new world on top of being a gaijin, a Japanese term for outsider. It's actually a good way to unravel the story as we, many of us outsiders to Japanese culture, experience the narrative mainly through his eyes. To make matters more difficult, 1999's Tokyo is one in which Jake and his boss Amy must navigate a world of racism and misogyny. Although Amy is a colleague, because she is a woman, she's expected to pour drinks for the men. At business functions, she must repeatedly fend off men's advances, and stays at work longer to prove that she has what it takes to compete with the men. Jake straight up is almost fired day one for just being white. And all of this can be frustrating. Amy and Jake find out several police forces weren't following up on sexual assault cases, and when they brought forward the story, it was buried in the back of the paper. Even though it seems all their work was meaningless, Amy says it is but one brick in a wall of information that one day cannot be ignored.
Someone has to build a wall of information, story by story, until the facts cannot be ignored, and then things have to change.
It's this persistence in the face of adversity that endears us to many of these characters. Sam's ambitions are closely related to taking back control of her own life. They started when she moved away from her controlling Mormon father to become a missionary in Japan, eventually stealing $40,000 worth of yen from a local mission fund to run away and start a new life as a hostess in Tokyo. There she finds herself under the control of a new man, Duke, who runs the Onyx nightclub, but Sam wants to one day run her own club. The end of season 1 sees her making a deal with Hitoshi Ishida, the leader of the Chihari Kai clan of the Yakuza. Sam really had no other choice. All the money she was saving was stolen, and no bank would give her a loan to allow her to make the final payment on her new club. By going into business with the Yakuza, it sets up a lot of mess for season 2, especially considering Sato, her former lover, will be the liaison between her and the gang. And Sato I found to be the most intriguing character on the show. Over the span of 8 episodes, he goes from low-level Yakuza initiate to one of Ishida's trusted advisors. This was largely in part to Sato saving Ishida's life from assassins in episode 5. Sato, more than any other character, encompasses the theme of choice. Because he wasn't really given the choice of what type of life he'd have as a youngster, he holds the ability to choose in high esteem. This is why he gives the character Koji, who he sees a lot of himself in, the choice to leave the gang, even giving him a stack of bills to go back to his uncle and not take the path he went down, a path that has led him to murder. Sato also sees himself as a protector. He protects Koji by letting him go, and Sam from the man threatening to turn her back into her parents. With him now in charge of Sam's new club, it could put him in a precarious situation. Does his loyalty lie with the Yakuza or the woman he loves? At the end of the season, he is brutally stabbed by fellow Chihari Kai member Jen, the same one he beat the crap out of in episode 3. I really hope this isn't the end for Sato. I think his journey is far from over and that he's one of the most interesting characters on the show. But the main thread at the end of the season revolves around Sam's missing friend Polina and the Yakuza running a sex slave ship called the Yoshino. Throughout the season, Jake has tried to link the Yakuza with its criminal activity, but at almost every turn he reaches a dead end. Literally, there's a dead body almost everywhere he goes. Jake has even made dangerous alliances with Ishida of the Chihari Kai clan to bring down one of the most notorious Yakuza leaders, Tozawa. Just like the Mafia has several quote-unquote families, so does the Yakuza have several clans. These clans work together and control various territories. However, Tozawa, knowing Ishida is weak and thinking that he's outdated in the way he thinks, wants to take control over his territory and risk a clan war which neither the police or other Yakuza clans want. The difference between Tozawa's clan and the Chihari Kai is made quite clear. Tozawa has no moral code. He runs a business that profits off stealing life insurance policies of people who commit suicide, buys meth from the North Koreans, and runs an illegal sex slave ship. As Ishida tells Jake of Tozawa, virus. Jake is given a tip from Ishida that one of Tozawa's drug planes is on its way, but when they go to investigate it, it's empty. But little does Jake know that his friend in the police, Jin Miyamoto, has been working with Tozawa. Katagiri will soon uncover this treachery and use Miyamoto to entrap Tozawa, but Tozawa is one step ahead. At the end of season 1, Katagiri believes he's going to uncover a huge drug deal implicating Tozawa, but finds no such deal. Instead, Tozawa himself is there with a threat. Stop looking into him, or Katagiri's family will be killed. And Miyamoto, likely dead, as Tozawa says he's somewhere, quote, where his conscience won't be an issue to him or a liability to me. Jake is also confronted with a dilemma at the end of the season. His father, who disowned him, wants him to come home, and his sister, who he adores, is gravely ill. Will he go back, or will he stay and investigate Polina's disappearance? And I think we get our answer when a mysterious VHS tape appears with the title Yoshino. On it is security camera footage of Polina working as a sex worker, where she is brutally beaten for not engaging in sexual acts. This is all part of a supposed deal she made with Tozawa clan for not paying her debts. It's a bit unclear, but I think the footage implies that she was murdered. Upon watching it a few times, you can see Polina hit her head forcefully on this table and then become unresponsive on the floor. From a plot perspective, her being dead deepens the stakes of the story, so while there's a chance she's still alive, I believe the more interesting narrative choice for the writers here is to have her killed. Sam will want revenge, she'll probably go to Sato and get the Chihari Kai involved. Then we have Jake teaming up at the end of the episode with Katagiri. They had a falling out a few episodes ago when Jake went behind Katagiri's back and told Miyamoto about the drug plane, even though Katagiri said he should wait. Now, if we're to look at the events of this season in a chronological order, you might be surprised the furthest in this timeline that we go this season happens in episode 1. The first 5 minutes of this episode actually occur 2 years after the events of season 1. Here we find Jake working alongside Katagiri, meeting the Yakuza's second-ranking member, and this actually gives us some clues as to where season 2 is headed. Jake is told to stop investigating Tozawa. Perhaps he's working alongside Katagiri because he's working on a story that could take Tozawa down. Regardless, if he continues with the investigation, he's told it will result in the death of his family. Because this takes place 2 years in the future, we know that Tozawa is still alive. Over the course of the season, we've seen him battling an unknown illness. This may have something to do with his liver, as he's told multiple times from his doctor not to drink. He has a spider angioma on his face, often caused by cirrhosis of the liver, and the ultrasounds done on his body are around where his liver would be. The real character he's based off of also died to liver complications. At the end of season 1, Tozawa tells his mistress that he's going to be around for a very long time. Perhaps his disease is in remission, which is why we see him drink a glass of alcohol with a grin on his face as his final shot. Whatever the case may be, it looks like like he's alive and well 2 years in the future and for the events of season 2. I thought this season finale was a great mix of answering some questions while setting us up for even greater drama and intrigue in season 2. I do hope this show gets renewed. It's been one of my favorites of the year so far, behind Severance, but I want to hear what you guys think. What are your thoughts and theories, and does it deserve a season 2? Leave your comments below. Thanks for watching, everyone. Be sure to like and subscribe, and for more bad takes, you can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at ThinkStoryYT. Until next time, remember,
I feel good!
Yeah.